Was he with?
His wife was Norris Church at the time.
Norris took care of him till the end.
Norris was a good friend. We got along great together. But Norris was a painter, and we got to know each other over the years. And I never really knew him, but I knew her. But I got invited to some parties.
Gorgeous redhead, as I recall. A gorgeous redhead.
Yes, tall,
gorgeous,
redhead.
white skin.
She knows a lot about a lot of stuff.
To eat your dessert.
So the Cape was good for me because it introduced me to that whole world.
All right.
So I started showing work in galleries, and then I got drafted to do some commercial work, which was new to me. But Harry DeZitter taught me a lot. He was one of my mentors, and so he was one of my sponsors for ASMP in the Boston chapter. And so I started doing commercial work on the side. The problem was I had a pretty full-time job already, and then trying to keep a photography business going on the side, it was really burning me out at both ends. But I loved it, and I had the energy and the youth to do it then. So, and then after I left the government, I decided to make my part-time business into a full-time business. I like cars.
You know, when we were going up Canyon Drive, and one of the guys who parks the cars for like Ills by Geronimo.
Yeah.
He's like looking, and then he saw your car, and he went. Because it doesn't look. If you look at it, you don't know. You don't know it's a beast. It's a beast of a car.
You are one with your car, Tony. You drive it.
Oh, Tony, you drive it beautifully.
I love
you,
the car.
You selected the most beautiful interior. The piping, a red piping on black. That's insane.
Well, I had to special order that one and wait 4 months from the build in Italy, where nobody had what I wanted in this country. They had them all loaded up with sunroofs and crap.
Now you got a driving machine.
I wanted my money into being a driving machine, so I
With
got
4 people.
special suspension, adaptive suspension, carbon fiber drive shaft, limited slip differential. It's got the engine tune chip.
Yeah, the only place you can really drive a high-performance car is Germany.
Well, that's true somewhere in Europe. I mean, I can't really drive. First of all, I can't drive like I used to be able to. I don't have the reflexes that I used to have. But secondly, there's no place to do it around here anyway.
Yeah.
So I just, when I get on the interstate, entrance ramp is a launch ramp.
How did you boil it down to the Alfa Romeo?
Well,
Four-door.
when I was younger, I loved foreign cars and stuff, and I used to build models of Maseratis and Cunninghams and Jaguars and stuff when I was little.
You mean like from wood?
No,
from
plastic
kits.
models.
Kits. I did that when I was a
Oh,
kid.
Yeah.
okay.
This was like in the, when I was like 12 or 13 years old, 11 years old. And then when I was about 13, my scout group would go to the sports car races out in Marlboro, Maryland, and watch those Porsche Spyders and the Maseratis and the Ferraris, And then as I got older, I started following the sports in Europe, Grand Prix and everything.
It's the man who wins this battle, not the engine alone.
And sports cars. And then after I got out of college, I got a Jaguar XKE convertible.
And which hurts your ass when you go over a bump, but it's sexy as hell.
Let me tell you, this car, first I had a Carmen Ghia when I got out of school, which was, I love that little car. Great car.
You done?
Yeah. And so,
What is your name?
Alvaro.
Albert?
Alvaro.
Thank you.
thank you. What I do, Sarah, is I was teaching at a really very nice high school in Fairfax County out by Mount Vernon, and we had a sports car club. So I was like 20 years old when I started teaching. So I sponsored the sports car club. It was a 64, which is the last of the 3.8 liter with the glass headlight covers, small bumpers. Here's the sad part. I decided I was going to get married. I fell in love. I was going to go to flight school. This was during Vietnam. I was all scheduled to go to Lackland Air Force Base. I wanted to be a fighter pilot. And I fell in love, decided maybe I didn't want to be a fighter pilot now. But to get married, I couldn't keep the car and get married. I mean, the car, I had to keep working on it. My brother-in-law had an Aston Martin DB4. My brother had a Healy 3000. I had the XK. Every weekend we're working on those cars, all of us together. Our hoods up, jacked up. You know, the engine was great, but everything else constantly a problem. But I didn't know any different. But I knew one thing: on a teacher's salary, there's no way I can keep the car and marry this lady.
Right.
So I sold the car.
Did you regret it later?
Well, I don't really regret it. I mean, it'd be nice if I still had the car, but what I really regret, I didn't realize it at the time. Only later, when I belonged to these car groups, and I found out that the Jag I had wasn't just any old XKE. It had belonged, I bought it from the original owner, a guy named Cal Marlin, who was a big ABC executive in Washington, D.C. Nice guy. Had A-Barth exhaust. It was off that off-white, you know, black mohair top, I guess, or whatever, and black leather, and it was beautiful, just beautiful. But I did know, and I remember thinking how it was sort of odd because I knew a couple other people had Jags, but if somebody opened their door and hit my door, I mean, it was really soft. Okay? As it turns out, I found out while I had the car that my doors, my trunk and everything were aluminum. Okay? Not sheet metal steel like the other Jags.
Right.
I found out later, much later, that my Jag was what they called an XK lightweight. And it was made for the customer that would take their cars out on the track on the weekends.
A street
vehicle,
car.
but it was modified so they could take it on the track on the weekends.
So you had a beast.
I had a beautiful vehicle. It looked like every other Jag, but there was a
There was
lot
a
of
beast
aluminum
under
where
with
theirs
Sophia
weren't.
Loren under the hood.
They made 100 of them, I found out.
Oh my God! If you'd kept that.
Do you know
Oh
what
my
that
God.
car's worth today?
Yeah.
But who would have known?
Well,
But you had it for a while.
I had it for about a year and a half,
How
2
fast
years.
did you take it? How fast did you take
I
it?
never had it over 150.
Oh my God.
120 is plenty fast.
Yeah.
I've had the Alpha up to 120, but
So-
the problem with the Alpha is it's so quiet and it's so light. You don't realize how fast it goes.
Exactly.